Hi everyone, it's Tessa from Meyer Hatchery. Today we're going to make a decadent meal, pasta carbonara. Okay, let's go through our ingredients list. Most of these things you can get from your own farm if you're sustainable enough, but you can also find them at the store. So we need pasta. You need about 3/4 of a box of spaghetti pasta. So you could make that at home or grab a box from the store. We also need cheese, so we're using a combination of romano and parmesan. It's a half and half split that equals 2/3 of a cup when you press this down into here. It looks like 1 cup when it's all springy, but if you push it down, it goes down to 2/3. Then we need some kind of a fatty meat. In this case, I'm using bacon because farm fresh, but you can also use prosciutto, which is an Italian cured meat. It kind of fries up the same. It has a little bit more of a gamey flavor, but it's absolutely delicious. You're gonna need 4 eggs in total, and you'll need salt, pepper, and olive oil. So right now I have some water boiling, so get that started right away. The water boiling is gonna need 2 big dashes of salt to just get that flavor inside the noodles, especially if you're buying store-bought. So get that boiling while you make the meat. Now, I've got this olive oil here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into my pan. If your meat's really fatty, you might not need the olive oil, but it does provide a flavor that you can't get through anything else. So I'm gonna take my pre-cut bacon. What I did was I cut this into about 1/2-inch cubes. And this is about 1/4 of a package, so 1/4 of a pound of bacon. It is, if you like cut the package in 4, if you buy it, that's how much it would be. Or it's like a good 4 or 5 thick strips is enough for this recipe. So I'm gonna put that into my pan. It's gonna, oh, it didn't do it. I thought it might splatter on me. So I'm gonna get this in here and I'm gonna start rendering it. Slightly different than cooking it. What I wanna do is I wanna get it crispy, but not hard. Have you ever had that bacon where the outside is nice and crisp, but then the inside is still a little chewy? That's what we're going for. So I'm gonna let that start cooking while my water begins to boil for my pasta and while I prepare the sauce. But you're probably like, why does she have an empty bowl on the counter? Well, that bowl is actually full of hot water. This recipe requires that we take the sauce we're gonna make from the eggs and the cheese, and we're gonna use the residual heat from the cooked pasta to cook that sauce so that it's safe for us to eat. But if we put it into a bowl that we just got out of the cupboard, it will lose some of that heat and it will be too cold, it'll like curdle. We don't wanna go there. You wanna have your bowl nice and warm. So put some hot water in it and set it off to the side, and it's just literally waiting for the last step. That goes over there. All right, now, I wanna mix up what I have in eggs and cheese. So what we need to do is for 2 of these eggs, I want just the yolk. For the other 2 eggs, we're using the whole egg. So I'm actually making crepes tomorrow, so I'm going to save the whites, but I'm gonna go ahead and crack these into a bowl. There's 1 whole egg, 2 whole egg, and then these ones, I've got to do the magic flip. There's 1, and oh, this one's fertilized. 2. There we go. All right, so my eggs are in there. Now, we're gonna mix the cheese in with the eggs, and then we're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. Actually, a little salt, a good helping of pepper. I'm just using a coarsely ground pepper. You can use fine if you prefer that, but the coarsely ground gives it a nice texture. So I'm adding probably about 1/2 teaspoon of salt and maybe like a full teaspoon of pepper. Okay, I had a tool. Where did it go? It's gone. All right, so I'm gonna mix this up with this. We are just mixing so that it's combined. And I'll kind of show you here. It ends up looking like soup. Ugh. Not very yummy looking right now. It will be yummy though, just not right now. Right now it kind of looks like looks like grits, actually. That doesn't look so bad. Now that the yolks are mixing in, it kind of looks like grits. I'm okay with that. That's fine. All right. Okay. Almost there. See, doesn't that kind of look like grits? So once you get your shredded cheese, or not your shredded, your ground cheese in with the salt, the pepper, and the eggs, that also just sits to the side because you don't do anything with it until your noodles are cooked. So I am gonna let this render. I'm gonna go check my boiling water and add my pasta. When cooking your pasta, you don't want it cooked all the way through so it's super floppy. We want this to be al dente. So you want it to be where when you bite it, you can still taste some of the starch of it. You don't want it loose and you don't want it so hard that like you have to crunch it. So somewhere in between. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my pasta, come back on this, and then we'll put it all together. All right, so you can see that my bacon here is crisp, but it's still got chewiness to it, so it's ready. And there's a lot of grease in there, but that's okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna now take our drained pasta and we're gonna put it in with, oh, it splashed on me. Oh. I'm gonna put that pasta in there, maybe not all of it. Get in there. You don't get to stay. And then I'm just gonna make sure that that pasta is kind of getting coated with the bacon and that grease, and it gets all over. This is the additional liquid that we don't have in our cheese and egg mixture. So I'm gonna mix that around in there, get the bacon distributed, get everything nice and bacon flavored. Try not to eat it before it's done. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit there for a few minutes while it soaks in, maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes at most. We don't wanna cook this pasta any more than it is, and I also don't wanna burn it. So this is just for flavor. So let's let it sit on low for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm gonna empty that and we're gonna mix it together. Okay, are you ready? Let's take this. I let this sit for about 2 minutes in here. It looks pretty well saturated. So I've emptied this bowl out and I'm just gonna be dumping my pasta in. Then I am immediately going to be adding in my cheese and egg mixture. Now, this is kind of thick as it's been sitting there. I guess I'm gonna add the bowl too. All right. I promise I'm not always this big of a mess. Who am I kidding? All right, let's get this in here, mix it around. Now, you probably noticed I have this weird Pyrex full of what looks like diluted chicken stock. It's actually pasta water. So I saved some before I emptied out the container, and I'm actually gonna use some now to help thin and kind of cook that egg mixture, because I don't want to stir it too much and break the pasta apart, but I don't want it to look clumpy like I've got grits in the bottom. I want this to look creamy. I want my kids to eat this. So let's amp it up here, pasta carbonara, come on. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more. I can't even imagine what their comments would be if they saw it right now. The first comment would be, I'm not eating this. And the second comment would be, I'm not eating this. That's okay. When this is all done, they're gonna be in shock and awe. All right. Oh, we're getting there. So you can kind of see how it's transitioned from being like grits into this. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more water. That's hot pasta water, so that's got salt in it too. Hallelujah. Oh, I think I did it. But look at all this bacon it's trying to hide from me. Get in there. I think that looks perfect. It's time to eat. So, when you're ready for this, what you can do is you're gonna put it into bowls. You can top each one with more pepper or more romano or parmesan cheese, or you can eat it as is. I'm probably gonna add some scallions on top because I think that sounds really good. But other than that, it's all set to go and you have the perfect New Year decadent dish. So if you loved this video, be sure to like and subscribe because we have lots of these Meyer Eats videos just for you. And if you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to us at info@meyerhatchery.com. Have a great day and enjoy.